from the ends of the earth. We represent the west coast of Vancouver Island, Canada, and the north coast.
We are responding to an invitation. We thank you very much for bringing us this far. We traveled for 4 or 5 days. We've gone by boat, by water, by air, and by car.
Abba b'Shem Adonai, Hallelujah.
El que beka Cristo kalana maya oko pela ku ho yoko a o ke alo malu nai ho nei ya mau me a
Nai tanai ngō tapu e, haere mai, haere
It is my family's teaching and tradition that when we come to someone else's territory, in someone else's longhouse, someone else's home, that we sing our family's peace song. So peace to Israel.
We have heard in this land that when the message of Jesus came to your people, that the messengers who brought you that message took your songs and your dances and your prayers from you, and they gave you their songs and dances and prayers. We have heard that you have also learned some of the prayers of our people that you would know as the Psalms. These are the songs and the prayers that came out of this land. But this week we welcome you to our land to bring the songs and the dances and the prayers of your people. Those songs and those dances that your people had before the message of Jesus ever came to you. And we welcome you to the land of Jesus, of Yeshua in Hebrew, to offer those songs and dances and prayers in His honor, in the land that He was born, in the land that He walked, and among the people that He was part of. So we welcome you, B'Shem Yeshua. Baruch haba B'Shem Adonai.
So we've been welcomed, all of us have been
This is the biblical port city of Yaffo, of Jaffa. This is the place where Jonah sailed away from his calling to Nineveh, the enemy city of our people. This is the city where Shimon Kepha, where Peter had a vision on a rooftop of a sheep coming down with animals that for him were unclean to eat. And in this vision, God spoke to him that they, as the people of Israel, were no longer to call the Gentiles unclean. In Yeshua, the nations are no longer unclean in the sight of God.
I'd heard about, there were some young guys in a village who were doing some heavy drugs and stuff, and this was like the salvation.
Well, one of the fellows that helped fix it and then paddle it for the first time. It was a year ago, and he's still living his life well.
Right.
He has been acknowledged by his hereditary chief, his head chief, and he has made a complete turnaround. He had an encounter. That's the only thing I can say. And it wasn't the canoe, it was the encounter, but the part of being able to be there and help fix it, make his own drum, make his own paddle, then be able to paddle home and be accepted back home by his people was just phenomenal. What happened was the chiefs had been waiting for the authorities to deal with the drug dealers and some of the evil going on in the community, and they couldn't wait anymore. So they donned all their traditional regalia and they went door to door and they said, we want you to leave the community because what you're doing by bootlegging or drinking or selling drugs isn't working for the community. So instead of just kicking them out of the community because they're family, they said, or you can come with us to Esperanza.
Now make sure when you're holding her, you hold under the brace of the seat. And we're going to walk her up this way and on to the ramp.
So practical.
Something had come to me about a year and a half ago. I was up late one night, just lying awake in bed, and a picture came into my mind. I saw Terry LeBlanc. I asked him if he knew of a carver who could carve this picture I had seen in my mind. So Terry told me, he said, well, many years ago, he said, well, it must be 15, 20 years ago, I knew this guy, his name was Don Frost. He said, I haven't seen him in years. But he said, yeah, he was a totem carver and he walks the Jesus way. And you've got, with the face here, which is meant to be Yeshua, with the crown of thorns, you have the hands and the feet that are pierced, but also representing the four directions, also with the faces that are in the hands. These four directions are also representing the four winds. The tears of Yeshua are propelling his people on their journey in this canoe. And so this was to represent some of the vision of this gathering, expressing a journey of indigenous people on the water. It was also to depict it through an art form that even to this day, by most churches, this style of drawing and artwork is inherently pagan and evil. And so we wanted to bring forth this art form in this gathering in a way that would challenge people's thinking.
Wina guadam dim lahaga, Wina guadam dim lahaga, yo he yo, yo he yo, hey 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 yo, hey hey yo. Some doig, some noon, we don't quite have get some lager.
So some of the beauty and the significance of what took place here this morning is that this canoe came from the Pacific, from the ends of the earth from here. And this morning, this traditional tribal canoe was paddled from Migdal to Kfar Nahum. Migdal was the village of Mary Magdalene. Kfar Nahum, the village of Nahum, is Capernaum in English. This is a course that Jesus, that Yeshua in Hebrew, sailed many, many times with his disciples. And today that has been retraced by tribes from the ends of the earth in their own canoe. And we're so excited. It's a beautiful day. A beautiful day.
Praise the Lord.
about the origin of the canoe?
It was built on the west coast of Vancouver Island. It was carved by Joe and Carl Martin and their dad. It was made of a single cedar tree. It was commissioned in 1989. We were looking to bring people into an experience with the Nuu-chah-nulth people. She fell into disrepair. In fact, she was growing back into the ground again, and there was trees coming through it. And when the Ahousaht chiefs, when they brought their people to do some restoration in their communities, then I had to ask for permission. I had to go through 3 steps of protocol to ask them to fix it. So when they did, then as well as fixing the canoe, their Tleit-maksti is what we say in our language. The Tleit-maksti, their inner being. Teach-me-sakwin is God has given us everything we need to survive. And so what people started to do, one man in particular started to peel away the things that, like the same as he was taking away all of the crud and taking the trees out, the things that didn't belong on the canoe, then they started to find their teachmas, their heart.
And that was so amazing to see, because they were so angry when they came to Esperanza. But as the weeks went by and they worked on the canoe, you can see them being restored themselves, and where they would, when they first came in, it was, hey you, and where by the 4th week it was uncle, grandma, auntie, it was amazing. It showed that they wanted to be family again, so the whole story behind the canoe is just absolutely wonderful. And to have her here, oh.
The word I heard when the story was told to me by Gabrielle was that the guy said as they saw the dugout, they felt that they had to heal the canoe, and that's a strange word for us to hear in English. We would say restore, make it good again, but it's a very deep word, and it was obviously doing a deep work in their lives because they were involved with hard drugs, and it had messed their lives up, and they got restored in restoring a canoe. And in the West we think a canoe is just a boat, that we play on, and it's obviously so much more than that.
When we first paddled canoe up to Cayucit, we hadn't been done in years, and when we went up, Jerry stood in the back of the canoe like the way I did when I was at the front, and I yelled out, and we could see the village, and we could see, because it kind of goes up on a hill, and we could start to see people just stream down. They were starting to stream out of their homes because he just kept announcing, we're here. Oh! And so that's what was happening. The people were streaming down, they were running to the shore. And even down here when we came in, and just seeing the people coming down to the shore, it's sweet. You have to come for a paddle. You're coming for a paddle. You can't make a paddle and not come paddling.
Well, I didn't know what I was doing with it. I didn't know if it was for me or what. All I knew, I had to make one. I went on the internet and found the idiot's guide to making canoe paddles. And I found a piece of wood, and I started cutting everything away that didn't look like a paddle.
And you have
and
that
this
here.
is what we've come with. I bring this as a gift, and I present it to you, Gabrielle, because you are the keeper of this vision of Indigenous peoples. This is a practical tool, and also it's a spiritual symbol that we came here representing our different people groups. But I believe that Abba is saying that we will leave this land like a river of leaves, bringing healing to the nations. It's only fitting that we anoint it, because the Lord is your strength. Let it
We'll
flow.
go fishing in the deep, into the ocean depths. Let our nets be stretched as we go fishing in the deep. We'll go fishing in the deep, into the ocean depths. Let our nets be stretched.
Lord, strengthen you. May God give you grace in these days as you mourn the passing of your father. May He give you wisdom and strength. And anoint you to carry the message of His Son Yeshua to the ends of the earth. God bless you, brother.
Of God, we'll go fishing in the deep, into the ocean depths. Let our nets be stretched as we go fishing in the deep. Let passion possess, make sense out of this swirling wilderness. Lead us to the beach, lead us to the feet, lead us to the heartbeat of Jesus. Yeah, lead us to the beach.